the whole concept is built on a kind of a stack of houses. And that's one thing. And the other thing is that you can see the individual form of the house, the very traditional form of the house. So it's a kind of a paradox. And like most of our things we develop, the paradox is a very important component insofar that it is a very important component of, I would say, a conceptual approach of architecture. Because we are two, and now more, we have never tried to depend on one single author, having one idea like a painter or a sculptor, but we tried always to put on the table something very strongly conceptual, out of which we can generate complexity and sculptural form. Taking the very simple house form, of course, responds to the needs of furniture, of the scale, of the domestic scale of a house, so it's an obvious choice. But it was not enough. We wouldn't want to put all this furniture, these wonderful pieces, design pieces, in kind of the traditional house. So the stack and the fact that we crash one building into another allows for unexpected spaces, intersecting spaces, which create sculptural, surprising spaces and forms that we could not have imagined without this concept. And in that you crash them or intersect, make them intersect, you create a multitude of possible forms. And we took the job much more as observers, that we said from all the possible intersections we like this or that more, or this or that intersectional form that we create or opening we create fits better in the needs of the client or in how the furniture should be laid out, etc., etc. So it's more like observing, and it's almost like dreaming. It's almost like if you look at nature, and you sometimes, nature has this capacity that we always have admired, that it has different forms of appearance, and you perceive it in this way, and the other day you perceive it in another way. And this, to come back to the building, or as a photographer, you would then freeze the one impression that you have, and this is your image, or that's your project. And that's what we also did here. We create a multitude of things, a richness, so to speak, and we could select. So we have like two totally different, or almost opposed. That's why the paradox is total simplicity and the very rich and complex result that comes from these intersections. And with all of this, we remain innocent. And that's important, also getting older, you have to be increasingly innocent. For, let's say, I want this form to be like this. This is my only way to see the world. It's more that kind of conceptual work that also allows for, let's say, other people, partners, young people who work with us, to come in and to participate in that. Much more than if the design depends on one single eye or one single opinion. I urge you to really try to see it from as many different angles and ways as possible. We can talk about materials. We could say, why is it not concrete? Why is it almost black? Why is it not white? All these things have, of course, a reason. And I said earlier today that today is a day with a lot of snow, and mostly cities look very good with snow because it covers all the ugliness. And here it covers all the beauty. So we are in a bad situation. For us, an ugly day would be nicer, actually. Because what you don't see now is that all the effort we have or made, or to finally achieve the fact that the roof and the walls are more or less the same material, so it gives a monochrome and monolithic aspect to the whole building. In order to avoid the reading as traditional houses with a roof and a facade. We want the traditional form, but we want to abstract it also.